I have been doing microneedling vampire facials since I was like 22, 23. It just doesn't look natural. It doesn't look good. But I do love putting Sculptra on the neck because it just locks everything in and your skin is so hydrated. But I'll do my full nighttime routine and then just plop it on.
Before I was telling you, I had to start by asking you a question that actually my assistant brought up. So Mac, who's my EA, she was saying that she was on TikTok and like plastic surgery injector TikTok. And apparently people are saying that if you get masseter Botox, you get jowls. Have you heard of this?
Oh my gosh. Okay. There is some validity to that statement.
Okay.
But not everyone is going to get jowls. So think of it almost like a pole in a tent, like, and that's your masseter muscle, right? So if you get rid of the pole, obviously the tent is going to go down. So if you have someone who is maybe 50s, 60s, and has had their big, strong masseters their whole life, and those masseters are like the pole, it's holding up the skin, and then you're like, oh, you want to treat your masseters? Sure, let's treat them, and you get rid of it. They're going to have excess skin. I mean, you know, gravity's going to take over. Their skin isn't as strong. It doesn't have that strong elasticity as it once had, you know, when they were in their 20s, 30s. So I always, like, it's not for everyone. So that's why it's always good to get a consult to see if you're a good candidate. So if someone does have excess skin and they're just not as tight around their jawline and they're already having, like, a little bit of a pre-jowl, I'm not going to recommend getting their masseters because they need that structure. It's going to like counter, it's not going to look good.
So if someone comes to you, like, are you honest, and I'm guessing of course, about like what they should and shouldn't get done?
100%. And, you know, I think it's always like it's never should be like the patient telling the provider what to get done. It should be the opposite because they're the professional.
I agree.
But I have no problem saying no. And I feel terrible because people will drive from like all over. And I'm like, no, honey, you don't need it. Like, you actually need a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So it's, I don't know.
I also feel like it's a really good sign of integrity and like artistry when, you know, the person that you're going to is honest about what you do or don't need. Because I feel like when you see, you know, pictures of things going wrong, or like maybe you know someone who's like out in the wild, you know what I mean, like these, I feel like that happens because you're just going in and the person you're going to isn't being honest about what you need, or maybe they just don't know any better. But like, I feel like that's why it's really important to go to the right person.
Yeah, it's like you don't always have to get something, and I think it's like maybe they're always trying to like, okay, let's do the syringe, let's push for the filler, but there's so many other ways to beautify someone that doesn't have to do filler, you know, and that's where the whole anti-aging concept comes in, you know, and it's, you know, collagen modulators, there's lasers, there's microneedling, there's facials.
Okay, let's get into all of that before we get into injectables. Yeah, because like, look, I've never done injectables.
I know, which is wild because you look stunning.
Thank you. But I do feel like the time is coming, okay?
You're like, it's upon.
Yeah, because so I went to an injector last year and year before last.
Okay.
Year before last, they were like, no. Then last year,
which is good.
Yeah, they were like, you don't need it yet, like just not yet. And I was like, okay, she has a lot of integrity.
Yeah.
And then last year, I was talking to Dr. Jason Diamond, who's also been on the podcast, and I met him at a dinner party, and that's the first thing I asked him, and he's like, you don't need it yet.
You don't.
And so, but I do feel like the time is coming. So, I guess if someone doesn't want to go down the injectable route, right, or like they've been told it's too soon, what are other things that we can do to preventatively look after our skin?
Okay, so I have been doing microneedling vampire facials since I was like 22, 23. And it is just so tried and true. One, it's safe for all skin types. So especially with darker melanin, yours or mine skin type, we have to be careful with lasers. You can't just like walk into any med spa and like, okay, I want to do that because I saw it on TikTok or Instagram. Like, no, you have to be so careful because you could cause hyperpigmentation or hypopigmentation. But microneedling is so safe if you don't have active breakouts, obviously, because you don't want to spread the bacteria. But it's so good at just stimulating collagen. There was a study done in 2008 where after 4 consecutive treatments of microneedling, and you're supposed to space them out once a month, they had a 400% increase in collagen production after 6 months.
Wait, what?
Yeah. You lose 1% of collagen every year starting at age 18. So it's like, if you just do that alone, like, I'm going to be microneedling till the day I die. So that's one thing that's safe for you to do. Obviously, like, I see people doing it at home. They'll buy the pen and do it at home and get this crazy infection.
I know, like, that, like, freaks me out.
Yeah. Don't, please, go to a professional facility and get it done. But there's just, you know, and the downtime is maybe 2-3 days. But that's something you can do where you're not augmenting your face. You're not going to change the way you look, but it's more like you're stimulating collagen. You're, you know, kind of like boosting up that collagen that we lose every year. And it's like preventative.
And how often do you recommend people get this done?
So I would say average is usually about, you know, 4 times a year. But I think people stress like, oh my God, I have to get it done back to back. Like, obviously life gets in the way. You're super busy. So you can space it out. You don't have to do them back to back. Like, I'll maybe do them like once every 3 months, you know?
Do you, like, how do you find the right place to go to is my other question.
I know. It's scary because there's a lot of med spas out there, and you can't, you know, it's your face. You want to feel comfortable. So I would say the biggest recommendation is finding someone that you feel comfortable with, that you genuinely vibe with. And just because you go for a consult doesn't mean you have to get something done. Like, don't ever feel like, okay, I'm here. Like, should I just, like, get it? Like, no. It's your face. Please feel comfortable. But also, I always say, like, looking at the providers, and I don't want to, like, judge or anything, but, like, usually how they represent themselves is usually what their perception of beauty is. So that's usually the type of style per se. And obviously this is just my opinion, but that's usually, like, the type of style that they'll want to produce per se. Like, if they have big, blown up cheeks, lips, that's what they're going to go for, you know?
That's actually such a good tip, I think, because I agree with you. That's kind of when I pick, like, okay, like, who do I want to go to, right?
Yeah.
Like, whether it's for facials, whatever, I'm like, okay, like, is my practitioner someone with the skin that I want?
Exactly.
Like, you know, and again, like, not to judge, like, that's not the, but that's just,
it's you know,
if I'm going to someone for a beauty treatment, I'm gonna look,
you're gonna judge them,
and I'm gonna make sure that they align with what my standards are and like what I want to look like. So I think that that's actually a really, really good tip. Okay, outside of microneedling, what about lasers?
Yes, well, I mean, lasers are nice because they can do what skincare can't, right? And same with microneedling too. But again, you have to just be so careful with the type of laser that you use, who you're going to, who's using the machine, because you can cause a lot of trauma. Yeah. Like, I have a lot of patients that come to me and they have, like, pigment because they just went to somewhere and they didn't ask their Fitzpatrick scale, you know, or they were on, you know, a tretinoin and they burnt their skin. So it's not, like, you have to be so careful. And I think, like, for me, like, I'll do the CO2 and I just do a low setting underneath my eyes. I don't do my full face, but I think everyone sees that and they automatically think, oh, I can get it too. But not everyone is
the right candidate.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So what does laser do for people who don't know?
So it just depends on the type of laser that you want to get. So there's, you know, resurfacing. So you can do, like, a non-ablative where there's no downtime, and that's like a laser facial per se, because there's no ablation to the skin. There's no downtime. You just get a nice glow. And then there's ablation where there's actually punctures to the skin. You have downtime, you're red, you're puffy. So it's kind of like, oh, you can do the ablative, which is good for, you know, scarring, for people who have sun pigment, sun damage. So it's kind of just like there's so many lasers out there, and they all kind of cater to what you're trying to treat.
And do you have any favorites?
I love the CO2.
What does that do?
So the CO2 is an ablative laser, and it's fractional ablative. So it basically heats up different layers of the skin, and it's nice because it helps tighten the skin. But it also helps with, you know, lifting up pigment too. But I love it underneath my eyes because it helps with those little fine lines, and I'm so neurotic about those. But again, it's a more an intense laser. But if you use it, you can kind of play with the settings, so you can do a lighter setting and not go as intense, where there's some CO2 treatments where you literally have to be put under because it's that insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not doing that on my face. That would scar me. But
and how often are you doing it?
I would do like a CO2 once or twice a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so have you heard of Fraxel?
Yeah.
What is that? Because I've like seen it pop up, but I'm like, what the heck is it?
Fraxel is another ablative laser. It's pretty intense. I personally have not used it myself, but I am familiar with it. But it's great for getting rid of either, I've seen like acne scarring, or for someone who has melasma. But it's tricky with melasma because it could either go both ways. You can make your melasma way worse or much better. I've seen it both, where people have tried it to get rid of their melasma and it totally got rid of it and it was amazing, and then I've also seen it get a lot worse.
I see. Okay.
So there's always a risk.
So then when you're picking what treatment to go to, is it best then just to find like a practitioner who kind of like does the things across the board and come up with a treatment plan?
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
And it's also like you just kind of focus on one thing. Like say if you're like, Miranda, it's like, oh, my acne scarring is really bothering me. Like that's the one thing I want to focus on. Like, okay, amazing. Let's just focus on that, and then we'll pivot and start focusing on other things.
Yeah.
Because we're constantly aging. Our skin is constantly changing. It's never just a one and done. You know, you always got to be doing a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And
talk to me about neck, because I feel like everyone's talking about face, okay?
Right.
But
you're
neck,
like, don't neglect the neck.
No, it's true, because like I started using like neck cream, and obviously like SPF like right down to here, doesn't matter what I'm wearing.
Tits to forehead.
Absolutely. So I'm like, you know, you can get away with whatever when you're younger, right? But I feel like it's like the easiest way to tell someone's like how they're aging is looking at neck and hands, I feel like.
100%.
So what do you do about that? Is it just like skincare that you focus on, or are there treatments you can do?
I mean,
because I mean, girl, your neck is so smooth. What the heck?
Well, thank you. Well, thank you. Well, always, whatever you do to your face, do to your neck.
Okay.
100%. Like if you're gonna get a treatment done to your face, do it to your neck as well. Why not? You can do it. Always take your skincare, obviously, sunscreen, number one. But I think a lot of times, too, we don't really realize, but when we're sleeping, a lot of times that's when a lot of those lines are created. So you can also, and I know there's a lot of like, oh, the tape doesn't work, but if you have a line on your neck, like I don't like filling with filler on the neck at all. It just doesn't look natural. It doesn't look good. But I do love putting Sculptra on the neck.
Wait, what's that?
So Sculptra
I'm learning everything right now.
Sculptra is a collagen modulator. So it's an injectable. It's the best way to describe it is, think of it almost like tiny dissolvable little sutures. It comes in a powder form. We reconstitute it, normal saline, and you inject it underneath the skin. The body goes, hey, let's get rid of it. In its path, you produce collagen. So you can sprinkle that out wherever you want to kind of produce more collagen, make the skin more plump, make the skin more youthful, you know, and you can target certain areas. So that's another area that you can inject Sculptra that can really help just like smooth out the neck area. But again, like it's what you do every day that can help by but say if you have a line on your neck that won't go away, put a little tape on it, because a lot of times it's the way you're sleeping.
Wait, what kind of tape? Is it like the
facial tape? You can literally get it on Amazon. And if you tape it at night, you'd be surprised how smooth it'll get.
Really?
I mean, obviously don't wear it during the day.
Yeah.
But sometimes like a line, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and it's always when I wake up. So I'm like, okay, this is obviously being formed when I'm sleeping because of the way my neck is. So you put a little tape on it, smooth it out.
What else can you do from a skincare standpoint? Like, do you use neck cream specifically, or is it just taking your serums and cream down to the neck?
I just take it down to the neck.
Same, okay.
Yeah.
I need to know your skincare regimen as well. So what are the current favorites?
It's ever changing.
Currently,
okay, I am trying not to use as much retinol, just because like I feel like Korean skincare, they're all about hydration.
I know,
gentle, and just like the more moisture, the more healthy the skin looks. So I've been loving more like skincare that works with your skin. AV Laboratories, they use biotechnology and applied their work with stem cells to the skin. And I've been loving that. They have like a serum, they have a moisturizer. I've been using that. Love that.
No, tell me. I want in detail, okay? Like, tell me morning. You wake up, what the heck are you doing? And then we're going to do night.
Okay, morning. I mean, like, I feel like I try so much.
Yeah.
So it's constantly changing.
For sure.
But in the morning, I would feel like brush my teeth, obviously. Would do that. I love to gua sha in the morning.
How long are you doing it for?
About like 5 minutes.
Okay.
It's not super extensive, but it's just almost like to wake me up. And I love putting like just moisture on my skin right away. I don't wash my face in the morning. If anything, it's just like a little bit of water. But I love, it's almost like therapeutic because I love washing, like, or just like waking myself up in the morning.
So do you use like an oil to kind of do the gua sha?
I've been using Lancome's Genifique serum. It has their beta-glucan in it.
Yeah.
I've been loving that. So hydrating. So I'll use that. You always want to use a slip agent whenever you gua sha your face, obviously, because you don't want to be stripping your skin. So I'll do that, and then usually I'll go and like work out and do whatever, and then I'll come in and take a shower. And I always, in the morning, I never double cleanse. But in the morning, I'll just use like a gentle cleanser. Oh, which one have I been using right now? Shoot. I always say it wrong. It's a powder. It's a probiotic powder cleanser from Tira Tira. It's a Korean skincare brand.
Oh, I've seen it. Is it the TikTok viral one?
I don't know. I don't think so. Not a lot of people know about it, but I love it because it's like a probiotic rice powder. TIR. But people will come for me if I say it wrong. So I'm like, I think that's how you say it. So I use that in the morning just because it's just like that nice probiotic rice, and I'll do that. And then I'm like trying to go through like my morning routine now. And then usually I'll go in and use the AV Laboratories. I love their serum. I've been using by Herbivores their bakuchiol oil, which is an retinol alternative. I love that just because it's nice because you know that you're fighting fine lines and wrinkles during the day, but it's not going to cause irritation from the sun. And then I'll use the AV moisturizer. I've been loving the SPF that I've been using, Beauty of Joseon. Oh my gosh, their SPF is amazing. It's like a probiotic SPF, and it's a Korean skincare brand, but it doesn't feel like, you know, when you put like on a sunscreen, it just has that smell, and you feel
the worst,
right, and you can't get it in your eyes. Like, I can rub this all over in my eyes, and I swear it won't even burn. It's so nice. It feels like a moisturizer, but it's nice because it has a PA grading that's super high. So a PA grading which is annoying because a lot of the sunscreens here in in the U.S., they don't list the PA grading. And basically what that is so you have your UVA rays and you have your UVB rays. UVB rays are what cause our skin to burn, right? And which is obviously good, but UVA rays are what penetrate deeper in, and those what cause the fine lines and wrinkles. A lot of the sunscreen here don't even have protection on the UVA. So you want your PA rating, and you'll see it on the bottle or whatever. It has PA+++. You want as many pluses as you want, and that's when you know the protection is from the UVA rays.
Wow.
And this has like so many pluses after the PA.
Okay.
So, and that's usually my morning routine, right? I'm like, where are we?
Yeah. Okay. And now night. Let's tell us the night like skincare routine.
Night, I'll usually go in. I always double cleanse.
Yeah. I feel like that has made the biggest difference in my skin.
I love, and I just feel like it. Like in the morning, you don't need to do it, but at night, you want to get rid of everything.
The makeup and the gunk from like the environment.
And I love using Dermalogica's daily microfoliant. So I'll use like a gentle cleanser and mix it with that microfoliant. So it's like a scrub, and oh, it's so good. I love it. Do that, get out, do my red light. Always do my red light after I shower, usually at night. And then I will go in, and usually I'm using my AV Laboratories morning and night, just because I've been so obsessed with it. And then I love by Skin Better Science, their Alpha Ret. It's like a retinol. It's kind of like a tretinoin, but without the harsh side effects. Again, because I don't hate when my skin is constantly peeling. I hate dealing with all that. So you get the nice benefits of tretinoin and retinol without the harsh side effects. do that. Tatcha's moisturizer.
What are they putting in that? It is insane.
I don't know, but I love it.
So good.
And I just want to drink it. Like, it's so good. So I'll use that at night too. I've been loving that. Caudalie, their brightening eye serum. I love the application because it has that silver ball or whatever. I'll use that at night too. And I want to say that's about it. Okay,
so you use that Korean collagen mask that like I'm obsessed with as well, and it's like very viral.
Oh, yeah.
So for anyone that doesn't know, tell me if it's the same one that I use, but it comes in that pink little, and then you put it on your face.
There's so many versions of it, and here's the kicker: everyone's like, "Does it really work? Is it really worth it?" My thing is, it's what you put on your skin before you do the mask that really makes the difference. Because it just locks everything in.
So what are you putting on before the mask?
Usually
is it all
my
of the
skincare,
same?
yeah.
Oh, so you put moisturizer and then the mask?
I do my skincare. Like, yeah, because I'll sleep in the mask. I literally, I slept in it last night. And
makes the biggest difference.
It really does, because it just locks everything in and your skin is so hydrated. But I'll do my full nighttime routine and then just plop it on.
Okay, so that's really interesting because I do my serums and then I just put it on. I've actually not put on moisturizer under it. So now I'm totally going to do that because obviously, why the hell not?
Yeah.
And how often are you doing that?
I'll probably do it once a week, the mask. Or if I have an event coming up, I'll do that.
And what other, are you doing other masks or is that typically your go-to?
I love that one just because of the glow that you get.
It's insane.
It's just hydrated. I'm trying to think. I love any type of sulfur mask if I'm experiencing a breakout. I'll use a sulfur mask. That's usually good for that. That's about it. I don't really do a lot of masks.
I mean, I think that one is just it's been my go-to as well.
There's also a collagen wrapping mask too. That's another
Korean one. I've seen it from you.
Peel off one.
How often are you doing that, and what are the benefits?
I mean, it's kind of like this. They kind of work the same way. It's just hydrating. It really just locks everything in. Again, I'll use my skincare with that one too. Put it on and peel it off. I don't know. I just gravitate more towards the jelly one because I feel like it really just locks everything.
It really does.
It's so, even in the morning, if you can plop it on too, after your skincare and take it off, your skin is so just
glowy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's nice.
Okay, so now I want to move on to injectables.
Okay.
Because I feel, you've shared your before and after. So actually, let's start there. What did you do? Because, you were, obviously beautiful before as well.
Thank
But,
you.
the thing that I love about, the way that you've done things is it's, almost that celebrity style where, you just... you don't know what's happening, but something's happening. Yeah. So give us a breakdown on the things that you've done in terms of injectables.
So I pretty much have tried it all, done it all. I guess I'll just start from the top.
Yeah, let's do it.
And work my way down. So Botox, obviously, 11's forehead crows. I have had a little bit of tear trough filler just because I had a little bit of volume loss. Cheek filler. I've had chin filler. I've had lip filler. Done my masseters. Trying to think any other injectable. Sculptra. Ooh, I love my Sculptra.
In your face as well? Where are you doing it?
I sprinkle it all over. So temples, because you want to prevent that hollowing. Mid-face, smile lines, because with filler and smile lines, it's a slippery slope. I really don't like putting it unless the patient really, 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 really needs it and has a serious volume loss. Because if you put it, it gives you away. It totally just filler face. It's so obvious. So I like to use collagen modulators in that area as much as I can. Like Sculptra, smooth threads, anything just to help produce the collagen. And I veer away from filler in that area because it just looks fake.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I think unfortunately with people who are just starting out or even people who maybe don't live in LA, New York where this is so normal, but they're almost scared of fillers and Botox because they're I'm gonna have that
there's such
look.
A negative stigma.
Exactly. So let's break that down because why is there such a difference between these A-list celebrities or even just random people that you see on the streets and they're just flawless and then that overfilled face? What's the difference?
I think it's just a provider not being able to say no because it's or maybe that's what they genuinely think looks good. it's hard to say, but it's like there comes a point where it's like you use filler for correction. You use filler, you know, to correct, to define, to sharpen. That's not the end all be all. Like, that's not all you have to use. There's so many other options. You have stuff to produce collagen, you know, to stimulate that natural growth, just to make them look glowy. You know, you have lasers, you have radio frequency to tighten. And I think it's maybe when someone's only route is filler, and like, it is addicting. Like, it's hard. You get that plump and you're like, ooh, I want more. Do I need more? Do I need a little bit more? And you need someone to tell you, no, you're fine, you're good. And that's what's so important with finding your person. Being like, wait, do I need it? No, you're fine. Let's do this.
Yeah, because the thing is that, like, the slippery slope, like, it can go real fast from, like, you know, the little plump to, like, almost aging you.
Yes. Oh, for sure. If your lips are overfilled, you will look aged 1,000%. 1,000%.
Yeah, or like the smile lines that you're talking about as well. I'm like, you look kind of
like not natural, not pretty.
Yes, exactly. So, okay, talk to me about like the fillers, okay? Who's a good candidate? Like, when are you starting them off? And then the other question I have is, what is the right age to start getting Botox?
So there's never like one specific age that someone should get Botox, because you know, everyone ages differently. Like, for me, I got Botox when I was 22 because us Wilsons were heavy thinkers. You know, those lines were deep. And there's a difference between a static and a dynamic line. A static line is a line that's there without, you know, you're not showing expression that's there. A dynamic line is a wrinkle that's only shown when you're expressing. You know, if you feel like that dynamic wrinkle is like starting to slowly creep to that static, that's usually when it's time to get Botox, because you don't want it to become a static, because it's a lot harder to get rid of once it becomes a static.
Got it.
So, and that can happen. Like, there's some people, they'll come to me at 35, 36, and I'm like, you don't need it. Like, you literally, your skin is flawless. Like, you don't need it at all. And then there's some people who are like, you know, me, 22, 23, and I'm like, ooh, maybe we can use a little bit right there, you know, prevent the line from setting in.
And then what about for things like lifting the face, right? So like I've seen people kind of use Botox to like manipulate the eyes, to like kind of like give a little lift over here. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, so Botox can lift the brow in a sense, but it's not going to be a brow lift as far as like surgical.
Of course, yeah.
But it's kind of like, it can give you that nice little like fox eye lift from the side, depending on if your muscle curls down when you smile. You can hit it. It's almost like a compensatory mechanism. Freeze this, freeze that. It's going to start pulling where it's not frozen. You know what I mean? But as far as like lifting down here, you can do what's called a Nefertiti lift. So you can,
what is that?
You can hit basically the muscles on the neck to relax them, and then along the jawline, so they kind of lift up a little bit and accentuate the jaw a bit. Another area that's really nice to hit is the DAO muscle, because as we age, gravity takes over and our smile starts to turn upside down. So you hit that muscle and it kind of pops it up a bit.
I love that. There's honestly, it could go on and on.
There's so many fun little tricks that you can play to kind of just like lift someone up, but it's never going to be like a full on lift.
So something that I really love about you is that outside of all of these things you're doing, I feel like you really do all of the holistic kind of anti-aging things as well. Like, it's not just like a approach from like just this like cosmetic only. So what are the things that you're doing outside of that for anti-aging?
I mean, I love my red light therapy.
It's so good.
It's so good. And you know, they first discovered red light with astronauts, because they used it up in space to help with, you know, healing, to help decrease inflammation. And then they were like, wait, it also helps with fine lines and wrinkles. It helps with hyperpigmentation. It helps, you know, with regulate your sleep. It helps with depression. So it's like, I feel like it's this thing that's so easy to do and really doesn't take that much time. 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day if you want to. And it has so many benefits. And I think people like poo-poo it. And they're like, nah, it doesn't work. But I'm like, you clearly haven't tried it.
No, it's a game changer. And I know this because I got my breast reduction a few years ago.
Nice.
And my surgeon was absolutely incredible. So there was a lot of aftercare involved. And every time I'd go to the office, and it was like, and every week initially, they'd put me under the red light for the scar.
Yes.
And I feel like I'm such a believer. And also, like, if people think about it, like when you go into a facial, they'll always put you under a red light.
Yeah, just to bring down, if they do extractions, to bring down the inflammation. It's so calming.
Yeah, so it's incredible. Outside of that, what else are you doing? I know you're a fan of NAD injections.
Yes.
So tell us more about that.
So NAD is basically, it's a coenzyme that helps stimulate energy and helps with metabolism production. But NAD it's in all of us, and there's things that you can do naturally to produce NAD. It's like working out, stuff like that. But as we age, we start losing NAD just naturally. By the time we're middle-aged, our NAD levels are cut in half. So it's kind of like, and it's feeding all those cells, giving it all those energies. And cells, we're all made up of cells. So my whole thing is like, I want to do whatever I can to make my cells as healthy as possible, because that's going to radiate out.
Totally.
So that's kind of like where NAD comes in, because I want to supplement with it. But yeah, you can do, there's 2 different ways that you can do NAD that I think are worth it. I really don't think the supplements are worth it, just because like the efficacy going through their digestive tract, and then you have to have MNM with it. It's just like, I don't really know how much you're getting. So I like to do the injections. You can also do IV, but it's like a 4-hour injection. Ain't nobody got time to sit there and get a 4-hour.
I've heard it's like painful kind of as well. So why do people opt for IV versus injection? Because injection, I just assume it's like like a 5-second thing.
Literally, yeah. You just poke yourself. It's not that hard at all. It's like an insulin shot. I think convenience, maybe people just can't give themselves an injection, so they'll opt for the IV. I don't know. I've never gotten the IV.
But the impact is the same? Okay, so then I guess it's just preference. And how often are you doing the NAD injection? Is it every day?
No. I'll probably do the injection once a week, and then I'll get my loading dose, and I'll kind of go off for a month or 2 and then get back on it.
Okay. So you're cycling on and off, essentially. Outside of that, what else are you doing?
I mean, I'm a huge fan of gut health. I think like your gut is the second brain.
Totally.
It reflects on the skin tenfold. So anything I can do to support my gut, I'm all for it. I love my sea moss. I love my probiotics. I'll take my coconut colt in the morning.
So good.
So good. I love my chia seed pudding. I'm all about the more you go, the more you glow. Like if you are not going every day, it's going to reflect on the skin.
No, seriously. And I feel like
it's just
people, I feel like it's almost not talked about enough considering the importance.
It's so important.
Like
some people who say that they haven't gone in like 2 days,
I know.
I will pray for you.
No, I know.
I'm like, are you okay?
Are you well?
Are you okay?
Like truly. Yes. And like I feel like it screws with your skin. Yes. Like it's like not good.
Everything. It's so important. It's how you detox.
Agree. Okay. So I want to go into audience questions, okay? One of the biggest questions I got is, or for you is, can you share your diet?
My diet?
Yeah, like what are you eating? Like I guess do like a day in the life in terms of food.
Okay. Let's see. I'll have my chia seed pudding in the morning.
What's in it?
And that's just chia seeds, protein powder, nuts, maybe like a date, and then I'll put a dollop of my coconut coal and then kefir on it.
What's the protein powder that you're liking right now?
Truvani. I've been loving Truvani.
I love Truvani. They're great.
Yeah, I've been using them forever. So yeah, it's just vanilla. I'll do that. And then for lunch, if I'm at home, I'll usually do, like, I love avocado toast. Literally sourdough toast, avocado, 2 eggs, broccoli sprouts. I have to have broccoli sprouts.
They're so good for you.
Every day. The sulforaphane in it is so good for you. It's like I have to have it on every meal. So that's usually my lunch, and then I'll do like a date, because I swear I always have to have something sweet.
I love a date.
I love a good date, I'll put a little peanut butter in it. Do that. And then, I've been snacking on plantain chips. I love the ones from Trader Joe's.
Yum, that's a hack. Okay.
They're so good. I'll do that and dip it in cottage cheese. Fire. So good.
Wait, I'm gonna, yeah, no, like really, I've not eaten yet, so I'm like gonna go home and just.
So good. Yeah. And then for dinner, it's usually a protein with veggies, maybe a little bit of quinoa. nothing too crazy. And then I always have to have a piece of dark chocolate.
Oh, so
every
good.
night. Every night I have to have my dark chocolate.
Yeah, I mean, like I yesterday had the Who one with hazelnut and hazelnut butter, I think, in the middle. I'm like, what? I've not had this flavor, and
Like,
it's amazing.
The fact that you can't just have one square.
No, of course not. I have to have it with tea because it's how I moderate it.
Yes.
Because I'm like, otherwise I'll go through the bar. If I have it with like a tea that I like, then it's like 2 squares and I'm done.
You're like, take it away.
Yeah, but oh my God, that thing is amazing.
So good.
Yeah, dark
what
chocolate
kind of tea do you like?
So I'm obsessed with vanilla rooibos, and it's from a specific brand. It's called Palais de Thé. It's this like green box, and it is
that sounds
Miranda,
fancy.
It's so good. It's
I need
so
to try
freaking
it.
good. It like you could have that as a dessert. I'm also like you, like I like a sweet treat, so I'll either always do. Yeah, it's so good. Like either dark chocolate or I do like date with pistachio butter. That's my new favorite.
Speaking my language.
So good. But yeah, that tea,
I need to try it. I usually just do like a chamomile or spearmint.
Yeah, that one is like a game changer.
Ooh.
It's so freaking good.
I gotta try it.
Okay. Let's see. Can you share your tips for tightening around eyes and cheekbones?
Oh gosh, it's so tricky. I mean, you can either, depending on the laxity and where you're at and where you need to tighten, you can do a CO2 laser around the eyes. That's really good for like tightening up the skin, the fine lines. If it's more like sagging into it, if you have that volume loss, if the fat pads are starting to shrink down, you have to support that fat pad sometimes with a little bit of filler, support the area, and you can go in and tighten it. You can do radio frequency. You can even hit it with a little bit of Morpheus to kind of tighten up that area. You can do Exilis, Ulthera, so many other motives. It's just, you have to really see, okay, where the patient is at. It's never just like a one size fits all.
How often, or rather, what happens if you stop getting fillers and Botox? Is it a forever thing?
No, not at all. And I think people will come to me, they're like, wait, if I get Botox, is my skin gonna sag? And I'm like, who is spreading these rumors? No, your skin is just, your muscle's gonna go right back to where it was. I even, everyone's been asking, because I was letting my masseters go. Because since I was 23, 24, I've always hit my masters with Botox, and that shrinks it up. And for whatever reason, I was like, I'm just kind of going to let them go. And obviously on my videos, people could tell. They're like, why are you letting your masters go? They're coming for me. And I'm like, I don't know. I just didn't want to hit them, Yeah. So the muscle, long story short, the muscle will go back to its original form. It's not like your skin is going to sag whatsoever.
100%. Okay. And then how often do you get Botox, if someone wants to start?
Yeah. I would say if someone was, it's kind of like, okay, if you come to me and you have that static line, I'm like, I want to see you every 3 months because you have to be consistent with it if you want that wrinkle to go away. But if you're like, hey, I'm just now starting to see a little bit of a fine line, I'm like, you don't have to be that, on top of it. So I'll see you maybe in 5 months, maybe 6 months, depending on how fast you metabolize it. So it's kind of, but also people love that frozen look. So it's like, as soon as it's gone, they're like, more, give me more, which I get it.
Okay. What are the benefits of castor oil in the belly button?
Yes. So it's an Ayurvedic healing, and it's been around for centuries. And a lot of people will poo-poo it, but it's like, you clearly have not tried it. So basically you put a little bit of castor oil in your belly button. There's different patches that you can put, but it helps with cramps. It helps with digestion. It helps keep you regular. It helps with bloat. Everyone kind of will attest that it kind of helps in a different symptom. But I've actually heard that people, if they put too much, this has never happened to me, but they put too much castor oil in their belly, that they've actually gotten sick.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess detox?
I guess. They were actually physically sick. And I was like, oh my God, this stuff is powerful.
Wow.
Yeah, so be careful.
And so then do you just you put a little bit and then you put a little patch on it?
Yeah, and then you go to bed.
Okay, and then you wake up and you take it off. Okay, so nice and easy. I feel like everyone can try. My thing is, don't knock it till you try it.
Exactly.
If it doesn't work for you, throw it away.
Exactly. Move on. But
next thing.
Yeah, move on. I'm here for it all.
Yeah, I'll try anything.
Yeah,
why the hell not?
same.
You never know what'll work for you.
Same.
Okay, how do you get rid of acne scarring?
Again, that's just So it depends on, okay, where our skin type is, what we can treat them with. If they're, skin type 1, 2, we can do
What's 1, 2?
Like a lighter skin type, blonde hair, blue eyes, light skin. So we can do an intense CO2 laser. What I like to do is kind of also underneath the skin, you can inject Sculptra to stimulate collagen. So you're hitting it at both angles to really help resurface the skin. Microneedling too. It's kind of like you got to hit it at all angles and to see. But those are probably the three, like a really strong ablative laser, microneedling, and Sculptra underneath.
Okay,
to really break up that scar tissue underneath it as well.
Love that. Okay, does price matter when it comes to makeup and skincare?
Makeup and skincare? I mean, I don't think so. No. I would say, like, gosh, some of the growth factors that I use cost an arm and a leg, but I love it, and I will pay for it.
Yeah.
So it's like, but I think that it costs that much just because of, like, what it takes. Like, there's this, I use these exosomes powered by platelets, and they're from the company Plated, and I think it's like, for 1 ounce, it's like $250.
Wait, what? Sorry, tell me more.
So it's a company called Plated, and they've created these exosomes powered by platelets. And I just
Do you just like put it on your skin?
Yeah. It's a topical serum.
Okay.
It's a topical serum, but it's great for like also post recovery.
Yeah.
So after you get a treatment done, after you get like microneedling done, you can use it on your skin to heal faster. But I just love like what it does to your barrier. It's so good, but it's so expensive. So it's like, in that sense, that's where my mind jumps to. And I'm like, well, yeah, it is pretty pricey.
I guess it depends on what you are wanting to do. Because the thing is that, like, I don't think, I mean, it's not necessary that, like, your mascara will be better because you paid $50 for it, you know? Like,
no.
And
I mean, mine costs like $10.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Exactly. And so I feel like the more advanced you want to go with skincare, then yes, you'll pay a price for it. But, like, for example, I don't know, like your moisturizer or your hyaluronic acid, like I don't think that needs to cost like thousands of dollars.
Not.
That's insane.
It's basic stuff.
Yeah. So like you pay more depending on how advanced you want to go, I think 100%. Is like my stance. Okay, on that note, actually, what do you think of peptides for skin?
Yeah, I think peptides are so good. They're so good for healing. They're so good for hydration. I mean, there's so many peptides out there.
Yeah.
I think they're a great addition to skincare and a skincare routine. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like the only thing I would want to use. Totally. I love my growth factors as well. So yeah.
What growth factors are you liking?
Oh, the growth factor from Skin Medica, their growth factor serum is so good.
Really?
It's the red, it's like a red serum. It's so good.
Are you doing that every day or?
I'll do it maybe like, again, because it's so expensive. I don't want to use it every day, so I'll usually use it at night, maybe like every other night.
Okay. I love this. This has been so you're so knowledgeable. Thank you for being here. Tell everyone where they can find you.
Yes, you can find me at np.miranda on Instagram and TikTok, if it's still there. And YouTube, I guess.
Is right. Wait, you're on YouTube as well?
I dabble.
I feel like you need to do long form.
I know.
Like full like breakdown of exactly what you're using at like in a specific month. Like I want to know it all.
Yes, maybe. I will do it.
Thank you so much. This has been so fun.
Thank you for having me.